מפק יקוש מדבר חוות בעברתו יסך לה ותחת כנפיו תחסה זינה וצוחי רעמיתו לא תירא מפחד לילה מחץ יעוף יומם מדבר באוכל יחתוך מכתב ישוט צהריים ייפול מצדקה אלף ורבבה ממינך אליך לא ייגש רק בעיניך תביט ושלומת רשעים תראה כי אתה אדוני מחסי עליון שמת מעונך לא תאונה לך רעה ונגע לא יקרא באוהלך יקראני ועיניהו עמו אנוכי וצרה אחציהו ואכבדהו אורך ימים אשביהו ויראהו בשבתי אורך ימים אשביהו ויראהו בישועתי Al Mekomo Yavo V'Shalom. May Phil Shaff go unto God in peace, and we can all say, Amen. Adonai Natan v'Adonai Lakach, Yehi Shem Adonai Mevarach, V'hu Rachum Yechaper Avon V'lo Yashchit, V'Ba'al Hashiva Po V'lo Ya'ir Kol Chamato. Adonai is given, and God is taken away. May the name of the Lord be blessed, and we can all once again say, Amen. V'yashov ha'afar al ha'aretz kshaya v'ruach tashuv el ha'elohim asher netana. The dust returns to the earth as it was, but the spirit returns to God who gave it. May Phil Shaff's soul be bound up in the bond of life eternal. Send comfort, God, to those who mourn. Grant strength to those whose burden is sorrow, and we can all say, Amen. The Jewish burial service is a collection of psalms and recitations that we've been doing for generations of Jewish people. And when we string the burial service all together, what we're doing by you guys standing here in the cold and creating this community to honor Phil's life, those of you online and those of you in person, is what we then are able to do by you gathering here is chant these psalms. And I've never thought about how well my voice sounds as I am in honor of Phil, because there's no pressure here. He was expecting me to sing well all the time. And I used to get the critique, which was usually pretty good. But as we're joining together to share these psalms, we're connecting his life with 6,000 years of the people of Zion. So by you being here today for these few moments, we are connecting his life to the lineage of the Jewish people, everyone that came before him, and those that will come after. So with that, I'll begin with the chanting of Mizmor LeDavid. It's referred to universally as Psalm 23, and once I get to the translation, if you haven't recognized it by the Hebrew, you for sure will by the translation. Mizmor LeDavid, Adonai roi lo echsar, binoteshe ya Rabbi yitzayni, amei menuchot ינעלני נפשי ישובב ינחני ומגלי צדק למעני הנשמה, גם כי אלך, גם כי אלך, בגיא צל מוות, לא ירא כי אתה עמדי, שבטך ומשענתך המה ינחמוני, תערוך לפניי שוחה נגד צורריי, ושמתי בשמן ראשי כוסי רוויה, אך טוב וחסד ירדפוני כל ימי חיי, ושבתי בבית אדוני לאורך ימים. Adonai is my shepherd, I shall not want, giving me repose in green meadows, leading me beside the still waters to revive my spirit, guiding me on the right path, for that is God's essence. Though I walk through a valley of the shadow of death, I'll fear no harm, for you are with me. Your staff and your rod comfort me, and you prepare a banquet for me in the presence of my foes. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and kindness shall be my portion all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of God forever. And if you'd like to that, you can say Amen. In a few moments, Josh is going to come forward to speak on behalf of the family, but I wanted to frame what I think he might have to say. You know, for Phil, for a man whose life began in utter darkness, I'm sure those of you who knew him well, and those who didn't know him even so well, could pick him out of the crowd as the guy with the biggest smile. He just out of him shone this love and friendship, even to his acquaintances. I would call him a, quote, bright light in the face of darkness, but it just seems too cliche for this man of such sincerity and unconditional love. And that is a huge feat for Phil, who when he was only 12 became a boy on the run when Nazi forces came to his town near the Polish border, and he was forced to flee into the wilderness near his house, leaving behind his parents and most of his siblings, who except for one brother were all murdered by the Nazis. He fled to Russia, surviving by sleeping in bales of hay and eating frozen potatoes, stolen fish, and even grass. He eventually came back home after his survival to his original neighborhood and found nobody to greet him. The only thing that was left to do for him was to make right of the shambles of burial sites with him and a few others in their hometown. And so you can see by that first act of kindness that his respectful nature led him through what would be the next journey of his life, eventually making it to Israel and then to Canada, all the while figuring out how to be a human being again. Living with the memory of his brother being shot right next to him as they were running through the forest. And yet, he arrived into a life of goodness. Goodness that he created. He's remembered by his family, his beloved wife Shirley, his children Cheryl and Joel and Monty and Stephanie, and grandchildren Josh, Adina, and Sophie, as a man who taught them to think positively, to laugh a lot, and to never mind material things. Music, Yiddish, Jewish, and Israeli were forefronts in his life and in his mind and in his home and in his heart and on his voice all the time. He loved to dance, and he even could dance, and really, probably best of all, loved his decision for that restaurant that was visited by him and Shirley on their first blind date way back on Selkirk Avenue. Only loved mattered, the love of his family, and in Phil's case, pretty much everyone. From the refit center where he enjoyed every morning working out, kibitzing, and a coffee, with everybody, to the candy factory where he worked for many years, his mantra everywhere was that everyone should be happy. Born April 9th, 1929, to Menachem Shaff and Sarah Gilman, he's predeceased by his siblings, Moshe, Meir, Ralph, and Chasya. Phil leaves this world on the 11th of Kislev. Listen closely to this. This is important. The 11th of Kislev. We're right now during the time on the Jewish calendar and in our secular world, because the weather is the weather and the days are as long as they are. We're in the darkest physical days of our lives. I don't mean that anything other than the physical day is short and the night is long. So as we face these darkest days, however, the Jewish people, right in the middle of this, celebrate Hanukkah, the festival of life, and more so the recognition of the rededication of the temple, of starting again, of making things pure, and that famous oil that lasted for 8 days so that the Chanukiah could be resurrected again. This is the Hebrew word, Chanukah. It means rededication. And this is how I want to offer that we honor Phil. The life he lived was a rededication of the world to the good. Tehi nishnatot tzara b'tzur chayim, may his soul be bound up in the bond of life eternal. May he forever rest in peace. And we can all say amen. Josh, come on forward to my frozen podium here to share a few more words.
Anybody that knew my grandfather knew how incredible of a man he was. He was the kindest, he was the nicest, he was the most loving and caring man I had the pleasure of knowing. He had the warmest soul, and he would always greet everyone with the biggest hug and smile. As Tracy said, he had a very tough life and tough childhood growing up in Poland. To have such loss and to have such a warm and kind heart throughout the rest of his life is a true testament to who he was as a man. You taught me so much about perseverance, about love, and about care. He truly took every opportunity to remind his grandkids and everybody around him how much he loved them. He would always go up to Adina and to Sophie and just remind them how cute they were. He would walk around with me as a baby singing Hebrew songs, and these are things we will always remember through the rest of our lives. On behalf of your grandkids, Adina, myself, and Sophie, we wanted to say how much at peace we are knowing that you are no longer suffering and you are reunited with your family. We just wanted to say we love you greatly, and you will stay with us throughout the rest of our lives.
Those of you who've joined us online, if you'd like to stand, we're going to share in the words of the El Malei Rachamim. Rachamim in Hebrew means mercy. You can carry that thought with you as I chant the Hebrew before I translate it. El Malei Rachamim Shochein Abba Meromim Hametzem Nucha Nechona Tachat Kanfei Shechina B'ma'alot Kedoshim Utechonim Kezohar Kiyam Mazhirim Anishmat Pinchas ben Menachem v'Sara Shelach le'olamo V'gan Eden ti'menuchato Anna bal rachamim Hastirayo V'seter knafecha le'olamim Utzeror b'tzeror achayim nishmato Adonai unachalato V'yanuach b'shalom ala mishkavo v'nomar amen. Exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and the good to the soul of Pinchas, the son of Menachem and Sarah, who has gone to his eternal home. Merciful one, we ask that our loved one find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May his soul be bound up in the bond of life. May he forever rest in peace. And we can all say, Amen. It's considered the greatest act of loving kindness, chesed shel emet, to actually participate in the physical burial of a loved one or a community member. So I'm going to ask his immediate family to go forward first. You can take shovelfuls or handfuls of earth and place it into the grave. The custom is you put the shovel down after you're finished so that the person behind you can start this from top to bottom. However, I always say, if the person behind you needs help with the shovel, that's more important. There usually is a little basket of sand available. I don't know if it's on the other side of that earth or not. It may not be available today. Oh, there it is. Thank you. Is there a short shovel in it? Okay, so you can get that one going as well. Yeah, both sides can go at the same time. Go ahead, yeah. Our intention is we're trying to at least have one layer full before the family is able to say Kaddish. We'll do our best. So all the shovels can be going at the same time. We can pause here. We have enough covering so that the family can say Kaddish. I have the Kaddish cards for you here. Want to say it? Your brother want to come up here? Okay, Monty and Shirley, come on up to. Actually, you know what? Can I have a picture, Shirley? Where are you?
Oh, this whole thing?
It's the same thing, but there's transfer.
I have this. Where
Yeah,
is
it's the same thing. Here. You know what? This is better print. Use that one. Okay. I will say it with you to help you out.
Gadal Beis Gadal Shemei Rabah Ve'ila Dibra Birucha V'ni Lechan Te Chayachon Ubichon Ubichay Dekol Beit Yisrael Ve'ala Ubizman Kariv Ve'imru Amen Yehi Shmei Rabah Mevarach Le'olam V'lam Rachab v'nachmata damiron v'amla v'imru amen. Yishman v'chayim enu ve'akol Yisrael v'imru amen. Asher shalom Rabah v'asher shalom aleinu v'kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
We complete the Jewish burial service with the traditional words of comfort, which is just a prayer about comfort, and I will say it on everybody's behalf, and you can respond with Amen. Hamakom yenachem etchem betoch sha'ar evlei Tzion v'Yerushalayim. May you be comforted amongst all the mourners of Zion, of Jerusalem, and I'll add, and all the nations, and everybody else can Amen. At this point, you're welcome to finish putting in more earth into the grave if you'd like. We have enough, and we trust that the cemetery workers will complete the job appropriately. And go back to your cars and be warm and comfort the mourners. Meal of consolation and Shiva will be observed privately. Thank you all for forming this community today in honor of Phil's life.
I'm gonna put some more.